Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm so pleased to be joined by Parker Posey, the amazing acclaimed actress and now a first-time Emmy nominee for playing Other Jane on the Amazon video series Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Parker, first of all, congratulations. A huge honor, I'm sure. How did it feel when you found out you were nominated, and what was that like, I guess?
I was so shocked. I was not expecting it at all. So yeah, it feels great. I'm really excited, especially with this project. I mean, what a great group of actors in this one show. And it was a great job. We shot in Greenpoint Studios. We all shot, I think, well, Donald and Maya shot months and months and traveled everywhere. But Werner and we just, Wagner and I told you earlier I was jet lagged. So now you know what that looks like. We shot like 10 days, I think. We had the best time. We had the best time. And I think I had like four makeup artists because they were getting COVID. And it was just like, it was a lot of, a lot of movement and a lot of action and just a bunch of great actors, performers, and directors. And we just had a blast. So yeah, I got nominated for an Emmy, and then everyone texts me. I was in Thailand doing White Lotus. We're so proud of you, and yay, congratulations! And I'm like, oh, it's so nice to hear that. But like, they should be. I'd like to hear like, I'm proud of you when you're not, when you're really struggling, you know. But yeah, it was a real coup to get nominated. I'm excited and get to go to LA and you know socialize and say hi to people that I haven't seen in a while. And Maya and Donald and the whole, what a great smart show, a way to talk about the nuance of relationships. This is exactly my cup of tea, this kind of writing and this kind of depth. And I just watched it a few days ago. I hadn't seen it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I watched it with my friends, and I'd heard it was good because when we were doing White Lotus, there were a few of the castmates watched it and loved it. And yeah, I think it's just so witty and smart and grown up, and I loved watching everyone in this. I thought John Turturro was hysterical and everybody else. So it was a great group of people.
Do you usually do you not like when you, like you're saying, you watch it? Do you usually not watch things you're in, or how do you kind of approach that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if I have to talk about something, I need to watch it. And then I'll put it on my iPad, like at the other end of the room, and kind of, you know, like do that or blink really fast and like rock back and forth. No, I can, remove myself a little bit and but yeah, I love the show. And I forgot, I was like, oh yeah, what happens at the end? And I was like, oh, right. This woman has no soul. She has sold her soul to the Smith conglomerate. She's owned by Hi Hi
Hmm.
Soup. And then she's basically a member of the cult of it's just funny, real estate in New York and being fabulous and this actually what you have to do to get by and to make a living and it was really fun to send up that type of person who uses her like, oh, she's so cool, but then she's like a monster, right? She's just, it's so transactional. And it was really fun to play a complicated person like that. It's like, I think she's kind of a robot. And then, but underneath, she does a great job of playing the game with her John. And when those parts like that are written like that, actors just have so much fun. And Wagner was like, we go out and we talk in between breaks. He's like, God, I just love actors so much. This is so much fun. We had a blast. And my mom really loved the show. She was like, I thought you were hilarious. So it's always good. It's all about making your family laugh. be
Yeah.
proud of you.
Yeah, you have that pride, right? For sure. That's really good.
At
You
the end of the
mentioned, yeah.
day, you know.
You mentioned Wagner. I love the chemistry you guys have together is fantastic. And I just love, again, like you were saying here, in terms of like Donald and Maya. Oh, that's okay. The door just closed.
Adore just
That
now.
was maybe that was a ghost, or maybe not. But
It's the wind.
I love the interplay between you two. And again, because like on the show, you're the established couple, right? But we've seen Donald and Donald and Maya are not. But like you said, they were doing all kinds of different things. So I guess like how did you create that dynamic with Wagner, and like is that something that's just all on the page, or how did you kind of like make that feel so real, I guess, between the two of you?
Um, it's so fun. You know, you get to meet other actors, and if you're open, like Wagner is, and you get to play a couple and husband and wife, then you just get in there and you start talking about it and trusting the other person and just having fun and playing, you know. I mean, we had like a week, or we didn't have that many days, so you just kind of jump in the water and get close. And he worked a little bit on the day before I started. And I met Donald like 20 years ago. Carmen Cuba, our casting director, who's like part of the family of Donald and the Chosen family. And I just think he's so cool and smart. Atlanta was so well written and produced, and just like these singular voices that have a real point of view and a sense of humor. It's just great. Do you know that's his mom? His
She's
mom
so
was in the
great. She's
show.
fantastic.
He's just, they were both so uh charming and subtle and beautiful. And I love I just ate it up. I loved watching Maya and Donald together. And didn't it make you feel like, oh, I like watching couples get along or not get along or play with each other and be cozy and playful. And I just thought it was really smart how they talked about relationships and fear of intimacy. And I loved it. I hope they do another one.
Yeah, me
Did you hear if
too.
they're gonna? Did you hear if they're gonna do another one?
Well, they are back for a second one, but I mean, because of the way it ends, I don't know what's going to happen, right? Like it's a cliffhanger, so we don't know if they're going to
Right,
come
right,
back.
right. Well, the
They'll
second,
definitely do another season, they said.
I know I know Wagner was supposed to die in the first one, and then we were all begging them to not have that happen. I mean, who doesn't want to play a spy?
This is the best.
Who doesn't want to play a spy?
Is
I want to come back and I want to just be like, a prosthetic nose and just like a whole other character. Did you ever watch Jeremy Brett in Sherlock Holmes? Did you ever
no,
watch him in that?
no.
He was such a fun actor. It was in the 80s. It was like Masterpiece
Yeah.
Theater thing. And he would just do all these disguises
Oh
and
God.
these different characters. And yeah, it's really fun. So yeah, it blows up and you don't know who's left. But wow, they shot a lot of guns in that, and no one died. Like there was a lot of ammo in that last scene, and it was just he's just running
Yeah,
by, just going like that. I thought it was so fun
it's really
because when
good.
it's done too realistic, you just kind of like. Although there was the cat. The cat kind of was like, oh,
The cat dying is very sad.
I didn't want to see that.
No.
But there was I don't run out and watch action films, but I'm like, it's so much fun to do.
It was, right, for you, I guess. Yeah, like this.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have to do like training for? I mean, like in the finale, certainly there's more physicality, right, than I guess in the other episode.
They had to do training.
Yeah.
I yeah, those guys come on and they show you what to do. And um when I was doing Blade Trinity
Hmm.
and I had to carry David Goyer was like, they woke me up. I was like asleep on the floor with my feet up the wall. My feet were killing me. It's a vampire walking around in heels. Like, And he was like, okay, wake up, wake up. And I was like, ah, okay, okay, ready? Yeah, yeah, okay, cool. I was like, shooting at a vampire. And then David was like, that was great. That was great, Parker. Just don't make the sound with your mouth this time. Like, oh, oh, right. Okay. And it was really hard. It was hard to do that, to shoot a gun and not make that sound. Anyway,
That's really
so
funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. I played Charlie's Angels in the yard as a
Yeah, I
kid.
mean that's what I was saying. That's what it's like. So of course you're gonna go pew pew, right? Like you kind of have to, I guess, in that
Yeah.
aspect of people who's never
You
played, that
kind of
cops and
have to if
robbers and
you're
stuff.
not an actor.
Yeah, yeah.
If
So funny. Do you? I
you're
want to ask
playing
you
in the
too.
yard.
In the show, the other thing I love about, I guess, the double date episode, right, which is the first time we see your character, is like it's so sinister, but not. And I guess I love the tension of the episode because it's like there's tension in the like you said, like the stakes of the couples and like seeing this other couple that's way more advanced and comfortable with each other than they are, but then also the
Oh, you
stake of,
froze.
oh no, am I back?
Are you going to come back?
I hope so. Am I back here?
Oh,
I'm
there you
back.
are.
Am I back? I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. The
Great.
stakes of the couples.
So I was saying, I'll try to stop. Maybe it's because I'm moving my hands. I love talking with my hands, but
Me too.
maybe that's throwing off the internet. I was saying like the stakes of the couples you have, like the stakes of they're a more experienced couple than like obviously like than the Donald's Jane and Maya's Jane, but also like the tension of the fact that they're also spies and you're not sure where they're coming from, and so like it's like very threatening at times. And I guess I really like that. And did you guys? Like how do you play that so it's not too obviously, you know what I mean? Like it feels like it's towing a very fine line, your performance and Wagner's. Like how do you kind of play that, I guess?
Well, I think they enter into it with, a certain arrogance and ego of being really cool and having all the nice things and buying all the right things at the farmer's market and knowing about art and knowing about, buttering them up and being cool. Wagner's cool in a way that impresses John, and my Jane is cool in a way that impresses Maya's Jane. And I just thought that was so well written and so true, the way these, people go into each other's homes and like envy it and want it. And yeah, it was fun. It's fun playing. It was pretty much all on the page. And the wardrobe and the hair. The hair was it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Rob was like, your hair is going to be like paper straight. And then it just made me go like that and kind of lean and do a lot of that. There's a lot
Yeah.
of hair acting going on, which,
Good hair acting though. Good enough to get an
hair's
Emmy
a big
nomination,
deal.
right? Yeah.
People go like that.
You mentioned like how much of it is the writing too. I guess for you, like going like, did that just stand out right away when you get approached with something like this? Or you just like, I mean, you mentioned like being knowing Donald for a long time, and obviously so many people involved in the show are the highest of high levels. But when you get approached, is it just like the writing is so good you have to do it, that
Yeah,
kind of
he's
thing?
funny,
Yeah.
he's very clever and he's subtle and he's poking fun and playing with these type of wealthy people and spies and intrigue and um yeah, they're both so he's just so funny. I loved Atlanta. So there was something that we did that I didn't get the humor of until we were there. I think it was is when we came in, and I was like, oh, now I see it. When
Hmm.
we're gonna kill them, and then we're like, no, let's sit down. No need to do it now. Let's sit down and talk to them, and then we sit down and we decide to explain ourselves and share. Uh, you know, spill the beans of everything because they're in the truth serum and we want to tell them. And that was just great. I thought that was really clever. The truth serum, they didn't have that in the original.
No, I don't believe they did. Did you watch? Have you seen? Did you watch the original before doing this, or
I
any?
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Did
did.
that does that help you in any way, or not at all? It's not really the same thing. So
Yeah, but it has that romance and that charged, those stakes of um love and issues and love and hate,
right.
that kind of like, because it's all just energy, right? Like
Hmm.
it's a great paradigm for romantic comedy and action. It's great. And I remember way back in the day, like watching a lot of screwball comedies when I was doing Party Girl. So
Hmm.
I saw the original Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the Hitchcock version
Right.
with Carol Lombard and Cary Grant.
Hmm.
And that was poking fun of the gilded, class and wealth and idiocy and shenanigans. And yeah, it's charming dynamic. It's good. It works. I hope I get to be a spy again.
Yeah, you were so good at it. This is like
I'm
really.
not coupled with a lot of people. I'm usually out on my own. So to be with Wagner and to be his like lady was so fun. And yeah, it was really fun.
Your energies are so great too. I feel like together. I just thought
Yeah,
you, both of you together are so great.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was so fun. I loved that. It was cozy and he's just so good. And the whole atmosphere was just so supportive.
You've made so many, like, obviously, like you mentioned Park Girl. There's like I could probably list off like 30 things that you've done that are just incredible, and you've had such just like very long and illustrious career. I guess when you're like at this point, like what do you take away from like what do you take away from this that you're like, oh, this is a new experience or something that you were super excited about in terms of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith having done this and at such a high level for like such a sustained period, I guess.
What do I take away from
Yeah,
this?
like you are you still taking stuff away from things like even now having like been
Yeah, it makes me think like, oh my God, I love these like Romancing the Stone. Um, as a big Heart to Heart fan.
hmm,
Like I want to see more couples, married couples keeping their marriage alive and getting into trouble and that energy is just it's so wonderful to watch between couples, whether
mhm.
whoever, like when you have that chemistry and working from a place of chemistry is such a joy, and we don't do that in our movies and our shows anymore. So kudos to Carmen for pairing us together, because it's so important. And now a lot of decisions are made from never seeing the actors and the people in a room together, so you don't know the dynamics. And we used to go through a process of casting and meeting the actors and everyone in a room, but that's changed a lot. So it's cool that they were able to. I mean, Maya wasn't. It was Phoebe.
Yeah, Phoebe
Uh,
Waller-Bridge, right?
well, yeah, who was going to be this, and like, it's just like one of those great stories when you're like, oh, this person didn't do it, and Betty Davis, starred in it, and oh my God, it was one of the many parts that was turned down, and Betty Davis took over and was like incredible in. That's how I feel about Maya. I think she's an excellent actress. I hope she wins.
It would be so great. I mean, like, I love Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Like, I love Fleabag. Like, I think she's
Yeah, of
really great.
course.
But I'm like, man, I can't imagine this show. Maya is so good in it. I actually can't imagine anybody else doing it. It's that kind of thing where it's just like, oh my God, she's
Oh
so
my
good.
God. I mean, just, and also they're so cute and they're so elegant and they really carry themselves in this way that is like inside of them. They're not going like, how do I look? They don't seem, they're not vain actors at all, right? It's
Yeah,
not, and that's like the writing and Donald and just being in a really grounded story. That other stuff is fun too, right?
yeah,
But it was sophisticated, and that was really nice to see in a show.
yeah. So you mentioned like obviously you would definitely it sounds like you would definitely come back for season two if they would have you, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
And
You're
just to
so
run around New York and yeah, go to other places and it's just fun. It's fun to be really serious and be funny at the same time,
Mhm.
and to play that intrigue and just that's just so it's just so fun to do as an actor. So yeah, all
Yeah.
those parts, spies and like, Sherlock Holmes, like all of that is so fun.
I'd love to see you in Sherlock. What if you just played Sherlock Holmes? Maybe next time we could do the after White Lotus in this season two, maybe that, right? I don't know. Like doing poor Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes. But Jeremy Brett as Sherlock Holmes was like the one of the first character actors I was obsessed with, like as a teen,
Amazing.
watching TV and like, wow, he's really good. Um, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well,
I hope, I mean, I just got back like a little over a week ago, so I'm pretty much out of touch. But are you interviewing everybody?
oh, from this show, we've interviewed a few people, including Maya and hopefully others. But I did
Cool.
got to interview Maya, and she was wonderful. So it's really good. And like you said, I
She's
hope it does really well. A lot of nominations. It had 16, I believe, at the Emmys, so that's really good. And for many of the actors.
16 for lead actor.
No, no, I think the show in general, I think
Oh,
had 16
I'm
nominations.
like, what's going on?
Donald got nominated, and Maya, and obviously you, John, Sarah Paulson, Paul Dano, Michaela Cole. So
Yeah.
really a deep bench
Jeez,
of
they
talent.
were all great. But
Really
Wagner was awesome.
fantastic as well. He was
There
so
was only I guess only a small handful. Like he was excellent.
he was.
Faking a sneeze like that, you know how hard that is?
I was thinking that too, actually. Yes,
And
how
laughter.
yeah.
And being able to really laugh like that. And
Hmm.
he's so good.
It's those little subtle things that feel like you said, like they're just like real. You're not even
He's
questioning that.
able to capture, you know what? It's Chris, it's like that writing doesn't happen a lot.
Hmm.
And it's not I thought I saw a cat. It's not like people aren't writing it. It's just they're not getting produced. So I hope this opens, a door to like more couples and yeah,
Yeah,
they'd be smart to do Mr. and Mrs. to bring this on
yeah,
again. Did
definitely.
it do well?
I think it
See, I
did. Yeah, I
wasn't in
don't
the
know. They don't really
country.
release any of the information, but I think it did, according to whatever is out there. And they
Well,
renewed
it
for
did.
another
It's
season.
getting all those Emmys,
Yeah,
so that's good.
and it's renewed
But
for a second.
things don't really make a splash
Right.
in the culture like they used to.
No, not as usual. But this show did, I think. So that's
Good,
hopefully
good,
really good. Parker
good,
Posey, thank you so much for doing this. It was great.
good.
Congratulations again on the Emmy nomination.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.